Hey guys, it's Mr. Jack000 here, back with Automation the car company Tycoon game, and what you're seeing right now is one of my latest builds that's literally called Ace Hood Soap Future. I should probably stop right there before I get copyright claimed. This vehicle, as you can probably tell, is a knockoff Bugatti Veyron 16.4 that was made in a factory in Foshan, China for the car company Ryven. It retains most of the looks of the Veyron, like the pop-up spoiler, front grille, and pretty much everything about this car. The downside to this knockoff is that it's got a poor performing engine that's way less powerful than the real one. The body that I've used to make the knockoff Veyron is made by a modder named Ryuko in his Bugatti mod file. The link is at the bottom of the description if you want to download it. It has a lap time of 1 minute 20 seconds 4 milliseconds at the quote-unquote Top Gear test track and 2 minutes 13 seconds 33 milliseconds at the automation track. It has a top speed of 180 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds flat. This vehicle uses a custom 2.7 liter inline 4 engine that produces 400 horsepower and 281.5 foot-pounds of torque. It has a fuel efficiency rating of 13.7 miles per gallon and weighs 2,956.4 pounds or 1,341 kilograms. And for the market, this car does compete well in a handful of the sports car markets. If this car would have had the real engine, it would have been a different story for the market. In terms of how I made the Ace Hood knockoff Bugatti, the panel material will be made out of aluminum with a monocoque chassis made out of glued aluminum with a mid-longitudinal engine placement, and both the front and rear suspensions are a McPherson strut. For the engine, it's an inline 4 aluminum engine with the bore set to 96.5 millimeters and the stroke at 91 millimeters, which makes it 2,662 cubic centimeters or 2.7 inches, with a dual overhead cam 4 valve made out of aluminum. For the crankshaft, it's made out of forged steel with the cowl rods at lightweight forged, and the pistons are also at lightweight forged. For the compression, it is set at a normal 9.0 to 1 with the cam profile set to 85, and it's got VVT at all cams, because why not? For the turbocharger, it's got a single turbo with a journal bearing with the intercooler set to 831 millimeters. The compressor maxed out to 77.5, turbine at 78 millimeters, the AR ratio at 1.06, and a max boost at 19.2 psi. For the fuel system, we're using a single point EF5, a single configuration with a performance intake running on super fuel with the fuel mixture set to 12.4. The ignition timing bumped up a tad to 52 and the RPM limit set to 8,000 RPM. For the headers, our only option is we got short cast headers with a single exhaust with bypass valves with the exhaust diameter set to 108 millimeters or 4.25 inches with a high flow 3-way cattle converter, and the first muffler is a reverse flow and the second one is at baffled. For the drive type, we're going to be using a rear-wheel drive with a sequential 6-speed with the top speed set at 180.2 miles per hour with a geared LSD, which is pretty much common on these types of vehicles. For the tires, we're using radial sports compounds with the front tire width set to 225 millimeters and the rear at 265 millimeters, running on 20-inch alloy rims. For the brakes, we're using vented disc 3 pistons with the brake size set to 290 millimeters, and the rears are also vented disc, but it's a 2-piston with the size set to 270 millimeters. Pad types as is, and I think the brake bias, they tune it just a tad. For the aerodynamics, pretty much straightforward. Fully clad under tray with an active wing, which is this here spoiler that is well known for the Bugatti Veyron. If you go over like, I think 60 or 70 miles an hour, the spoiler would pop up. And that is our active spoiler. For the interior, instead of making things a luxury or handmade, we're using a premium interior with a premium sat-nav, because made in China. It's got a variable hydraulic power steering with traction control and ABS, even though in BeamNG it's got electronic stability control, which is kind of interesting how it's set up. And it's got standard 2000 safety standards. And lastly, with the suspension, we're using progressive springs with semi-active dampers and active springs running on a modified normal preset. All I did was just drop the ride height just a tad. And I think this is the first time where we got no problems with the car or engine whatsoever. So let's just export this to BeamNG.drive and test this out. So here we are at the map of Italy, and oh boy, the colors have really changed in this car. Cause, was this supposed to be... Because now it's the main primary color is this here chrome piece of paint here, but the secondary color still retains the blue color. which that is pretty interesting. We can take a look at everything else. Even the Ryven badge, instead of it being red, now it's almost chrome. And not only that, the chassis sticks through the freaking headlights. Really? I guess Foshan China really needs to step up their game. I mean, for a horribly made replica of the Bugatti Veyron, it kind of retains most of its looks, even though the front grille here, the main grille piece, is supposed to be a little bit skinnier, but I made it fat on purpose to get the most cooling out of this tiny 4-cylinder engine. Even though the vents are quite different, the headlights, and even these turn indicators right here. I know some Bugatti Veyrons in the early 2000s, they had these turn indicators on the side of the vehicle. And even there is a turn indicator too on this here rear view mirror, so if you go to make a right turn, you got 2 turn indicators instead of just 1. If the paint job wouldn't have come up as chromey like this would have been better. And not only that, I put some detail in the exhaust pipe. Nice. And it's driven by a Florida man, of course. Oh man, I got an idea. I heard this car scraping when I was driving. You can barely hear it. So go over to speed bump. Okay, one more before we do performance test. Right here. Another speed bump. What the hell? Because the mod offer did say he's trying to fix these grinding and scraping issues, but that was like months ago when he first published this car mod. Let me check out the J-beam structure, and that is your problem. You got J-beams poking out here, 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 pretty much everywhere. It's just sharp angles just touching the ground. Well, that's something that the mod offer would want to do if he were to invest his time updating this in the near future. Wow, oh wow. So let's get things started here with our performance test. Got the car lined up here in the highway section of the map. The first one we're going to be doing for a performance test is a 0 to 62 acceleration test. Second, a 62 to 0 brake test. And lastly, a top speed run, which I guarantee it'll do it on this map because we got a lot of long, windy roads. I don't say windy, but just straight roads here in this map. So right now, the 0 to 62 test will commence right now. Oh boy, the scrapiness and high revving of this 4-cylinder. 0 to 62 in 4.99 seconds of 248.64 feet. Brake test, just be a bit precise. That upshift, thank you now. That micro lag spike. 62 to 0 in 2.53 seconds of 106.78 feet. Despite that lag spike, hopefully we won't do it that much, even though this is the first video with the GTX 1070 Founders Edition, which I hopefully you can do see in the top left of your screen. I brought back the FPS counter, because back then, the FPS I was getting was around like 45 to 50 FPS, but now I'm getting like a solid 70s most of the time. It goes to some 60s here and there, but most of the time it's like in the 60s to 70s. Right now we're in the 50s, so top speed run. Commence right now. Right when we enter top speed run, crash into something really fast, really solid, and something that could really trash. Wow, this replica, failed replica of a Bugatti Veyron made in Foshan, China. 5th gear right now, going over 140 miles an hour right now, hit 140. I thought that bump would have ended this whole man's career. Even that one too. I'm kind of worried that a bump would really end this car's career. So this thing is going pretty slow. Like right now, I'd be going like 200 something miles an hour if I had the 16.4 liter Bugatti Veyron engine, even though this doesn't support W engines in this game as of right now, which I don't think Automation is going to do W engines, even the VR engines like the VR6, which they aren't really going to be doing that in the near future, even though they're going to plan on adding more like inline engines like the i7s and 8s in the near futures, and might as well end the top speed run. So 150 something miles an hour. Can we? What was ECS doing? So find a way to end its misery and then take this onto a track. Or probably stay in this map here, just do a street course. I can't steer. Yep, we'll just keep going straight till we run this thing into a building. I think that's our last crash. 98 miles an hour. Impact detector stopping car. There goes a tire. And let's pretty much just end it right there before we put this on no track. So looking at the damage, we screwed up. There goes a tire. Front right of the vehicle, it's lifted pretty high off the ground here. This is still going off despite the mirror not existing. Front left, quite a bit of damage, even though that we hit that a few times. Even the indicator here is still glowing. This is pretty weird. So sides are okay. The rear, almost in good shape, but we did dent this up. Yeah, we did damage this right portion of the brake light, the far right portion, including the rear indicator here, the reflector. The right one's damaged, left one kind of bent, and how are the exhaust pipes? Fairly healthy. Left one's good, but not the right one. So instead of jumping from map to map, we're going to stay on the map of Italy, and we're going to be doing one lap with the island tour layout. This is going to be hell with this vehicle. And let's select the Bugatti Veyron, aka the Ryven Ace Hood, as I call it. And let's do it in the, like, sunrise hours of this here time trial. And everything will be as is, so let's get ready to jump into the starting line of this here time trial right now. So here we are at a basic starting line with this here checkered flag right here off to our right. Same thing to the left. Yes, with these barriers that block the entrance to the airport. It sucks if you're going to catch a flight in the near future. So let's get ready to start things off and enjoy the tour from hell. So start in 3, 2, 1. Can we launch? We did a freaking wheel spin with a Bugatti Veyron, a 4-cylinder Veyron, and hopefully we do get a better top speed going right here, because I think I did start from pretty much back there, or maybe maybe a tenth of a mile back there when I did the initial top speed run, which hopefully I could be careful right here. And there's also our first checkpoint, which fortunately it does count because this is a vanilla map and not a foreign downloaded map, which some downloaded maps like the Automation Test Track and stuff like that, including the Lakeside Park Raceway, like some of those tracks, like if I do a time trial like this, where like the checkpoint here, like the first one is it goes in and out like real quickly, the camera does, and the top right there at the lap counter doesn't count whatsoever, which it hasn't been doing that this lately with the vanilla maps, but I haven't really tested out the downloaded modded maps lately, which hopefully they don't do that in the near future, because I'm planning on going to some like real racetracks like F1 and whatever racetracks in the near future. Like I seen a video of some modder who did some Assetto Corsa ports of like the Monza circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps Championships, I say it right, or just simply the Spa over in Belgium, including the Suzuka circuit in Japan. Like the mod author who did those ports did a lot of Assetto Corsa ports and ported them to BeamNG, but once that person... Whoa, I swear. Okay, back to where I was saying... Wait. Okay, I hope we're done right there, because back what I was saying, where that person made those ports from Assetto Corsa to BeamNG, like, I think he first did the Suzuka circuit and instantly got banned on BeamNG because it realized it was doing some copyright infringement because it was using Assetto Corsa's maps without their permission. And now it's on a Mega NZ or some sort of like file hosting website with those maps that you can download off of the YouTube channel who hosts those ports. Well, this vehicle, I'm kind of surprised, despite the scrapiness here and there, and even with ECS, even though it should be traction control and ABS, this handles fairly well. Like, ECS does a job right there trying to keep this car as stable as possible, because that's what ECS does. And... ow. Despite that collision, we're still going straight. We haven't damaged any steering alignment, which, yeah, I'm kind of surprised. That hit didn't even damage nothing, just cosmetic damage, and that's it. And we're also flaming out the exhaust. Ow, part 2. It's only the back end, but that also did nothing either. Should try to take it slow this time, not go NASCAR and just die into a wall. Even though I haven't even done this time trial whatsoever. I don't really go on Italy that much. Like, I kind of visit it here and there, but this time trial in general, this layout, I've never done this whatsoever. Like you've seen in the time trial section with the leaderboard, there was no record of any vehicles I've ever done here on this map. So this is a blind run, and this is going out fairly well. If I would have hit the walls back there with this vehicle, hit the front left and back right, this would have been pretty much a clean, whoa, healthy run of this here time trial. And we're 4 minutes into this time trial. Brake, bastard, and ECS goes with the stop. I don't know why it does that. Like, you hit the wall and then ECS takes complete control of the car and basically parks it. Like, I don't know if that's just automation vehicles, they all do that with ECS enabled or what. It's like it's been doing that with automation with their ECS vehicles where it just comes to a complete stop for some odd reason. Either you tap the wall pretty good or not necessarily slam it till you get the impact detected stopping car, but it does that here and there with those vehicles. BeamNG vehicles, on the other hand, no, because they deform much more easier than these vehicles, and that's the truth. Unless you download the Indestructible Vehicles mod, which that came out in the repository not too long ago, because I've seen videos. Damn, the 4th hit online and in the BeamNG repository where it makes a vehicle virtually indestructible. Like, you can crash a D-Series, T-Series, a Miramar, whatever, crash through a wall, and you'll just get, like, basic, like, arcade cosmetic damage. Like, just bumper damage, mild frame damage, and that's it. Like, the front bumper, front frame, they won't crumble and make the vehicle undrivable, and even break the engine. And I think now we are auto-steering to the right after the 5th, and maybe, I think it's our 5th hit hitting the wall. I think the 4th hit back there, that's what really killed the steering alignment in this vehicle. And this GTX is really holding up very well. Despite getting some mid-40s here and there, I mean, it's not dipping down to like the 30s or 20s, because this is the Founders Edition graphics card. I didn't go for an aftermarket like an EVGA, MSI, what is it, Zotac, PNY, those guys. I went for a Founders Edition, a base, what do they call them, reference cards. I went for a reference card because I thought, like, going up to an EVGA, like a Superclock, the Super Clocked, or the For the Win version, like those cards, which I thought like it'll pull up more wattage to power up the graphics card, and I'm still running the stock Dell 525 watt power supply in this here Dell T3500. But you can see in the specs in the description below, where I'm still running the Xeon processor, a W3690, with this here 2070 FE, and a crucial 525 gigabyte SSD, and a Western Digital hard drive that crapped out on me, and now instead of showing 4 terabytes, it's showing 2 for some odd reason, which that happened, that hard drive, how it went from regular NTSF to a raw hard drive file format, wow, and it just basically locked up, corrupted most of my stuff. And once I put it back to NTSF, I backed all up the data and made it back to NTSF. That's where it went to 2 gigabytes, not the full 4 gigabytes, which I think the hard drive there is on its last leg, because the hard drive I bought, it's pretty bad. Based on reviews, it got like 3 stars, 2 stars, stuff like that. And our finish time, let's find a way to crash this. 7 minutes, 25 seconds, 619 milliseconds. If I had a clean run, this would probably be like a 720 or something. So let me find a way to crash this and throw this off the map somewhere. It's probably Car Jump Arena. So I'm not going to crash the same spot. Let's dive down. Come on, dive. And just crash straight up ahead. Who cares who's in the way? Camera, everything as is. Maybe everything as is. Let's see, in this building, everything as is. No, let's do a camera. So around 76 miles an hour. Headlights are on. Let's turn them off. I did that in the pause mode to freeze physics. So, yep. Headlights are off. We're drifting off-centered. So speed us up a little. And, okay, get ready. Okay, there goes the front. Hide the UI. 60-something mile an hour collision. Back up here into the chair. Back up more. It's gonna be brutal. Into the chairs, into the table. Crankled up pretty good. Hazards are going off because impact detected stopping car. Haven't said that in a real long time doing these automation BeamNG videos. And speed up to 16. There goes something coming off the vehicle, and do a full shot pan and focus on the vehicle. Engine is smoking because we broke the freaking coolant full time. That vehicle is 100% toast because we killed the... No, we didn't. I can't even hear this, but we can still go. The front left tire is locked up. How about reverse? Bro, that tire's locked up. Well, it's not locked up. We're in the air. And we're still going. Are you kidding me, man? But ECS is trying to ruin the fun. Crash at the gas station. I want to blow up. Fair enough. And did we kill the car fully where it's immobile? I think we did. I take that back. Well, broke the rear spoiler. Daddy, I'm home. Let's just end it right there. So we broke off the spoiler, and now we get a beautiful look at what the engine is like because it has broken a hole through the vehicle, unfortunately. Last part of the video, let's throw it off of Car Jump Arena and see if the Chinese economy with the knockoff vehicles would take off. So here we are at the top of the ramp here at Car Jump Arena, and we got all red lights here. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, wait for it, 4 light, 5 light, launch. Poorly launch, go. Get some at wheel spin. And ramp down the ramp. 0 to 62. A little bit better. 4.81 seconds at 221.55 feet. And let's see if we get top speed, which I think we are not going to let that happen. 163 upon exit. And can we nail this? Can we freaking nail this? We'll do 1 nail, then a slow nail. And then... I thought that tire was coming off. And then just brake at the last second to get some flips going to really show the destruction of this vehicle. And can we keep going? Drift into sand. Go up here, into the pool, past the pool, hit the lifeguard tower. There goes all 3 wheels. Wow, 3 of the wheels, except for this guy here is still alive. And can we get the rear tire going? Barely. Well, we can't steer because there's no front tires, so that sucks. And 2, that's a reflector, not a brake light, guys. Even though I'm still patient for 4.1, but not too worried about it. But I think 4.1, once that comes out, once it defines what's a brake light, a reverse light, a turn signal, I think that should be just a solid red piece as the reflector, not a brake light, like as you see right here. So what if I try to nail this up ahead? Let's see. I think 118 would do 117. Nailed it. Perfectly nailed it. No damage, no pieces flying off. 176 into drift. And pretty much like last time. And into the pool. Shut the engine off because we're hydrolocking. So surprisingly, I think no damage. Hold up. Well, we got the mirror missing right here. I'm bringing this up. I think there's no damage to this vehicle whatsoever. So spawn it inside the ground. Then flip it upright with this free hanging J-beam. Is the J-beam structure of this vehicle, of how weird this vehicle is built. Well, we broke the spoiler and the famous Bugatti fuel cap. I want this like on the ground, 4 tires, and we're okay. If the rear wing would have been still attached and the gas cap, we would have, we broke the steering alignment, but like virtually no damage, but a messed up steering line with the front right wheel. Time to really ace hood this. Drift, 120 something miles an hour, and here we go. Let's see here. That was a disappointment. That was pure disappointment, but we survived. Let's find something solid to crash into. Not hitting the brakes whatsoever in this house. In this poor dude's house up ahead. Alright, 4 times to 8 times. High DUI, 87 miles an hour. And we killed the family inside. I'm sorry. I'm real sorry for you, man. And the engine still runs because it's mid-engine, not front-engine. That is some major front-end damage right there. Alright, last part of the video. Drive down as fast as we can down this bridge and crash into the last bridge pillar that is just up ahead at a high speed to get a high speed crash test going, which should have happened in... Can I make that happen? Oh, barely make that happen. I would say it should have happened in, what, Italy? And can I jump? Oh no, the J-beam, it's gonna ruin it. No, it's gonna... Wrong button, but... Okay. We got that instead. That J-beam structure, how the thing's scraping inside the ground, how that just basically killed the vibe. So let me do that again, and let's try to like get a better attacking, like slam into the middle, center median, and slam into the center bridge pillar. Like, come up to the right. I don't have ECS, so turn it back on, so I can get maximum control of this vehicle and just like dive bomb into here. Like, dive right now. Oh, we're gonna get a side impact. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. A side impact. 142 miles an hour and dropping 140. Maybe a back right quarter panel. Okay, this is gonna kill the engine. I guarantee it. So 100 times slow-mo. 134. Gonna be a 33 mile an hour collision with the back end of the vehicle. This is a first. Okay, really get a different camera. All right, back end. High speed. 133 upon impact. Back end has been hit. Hazards going off because impact detected stopping car yet again. 60 times. FOV. Bring that back. And there goes a tire in the background. And full time. And a tire that is going to fall off. And did we kill the engine? No, we didn't. And the back tires are gone. Back right is barely hanging on. Back left is gonzo. So we can't go whatsoever. We are immobile because it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. And for this tire... What the hell? The freaking tire's gone inward. Look at this. Can I pull it off? Oh, pull it off. Maybe not. That's unrealistic, but okay. And I'm surprised at the front right here, the front right portion of the vehicle, the wheel alignment is like perfectly straight. That's impossible. So looking at the back end, really crinkled this in. That is pretty messed up. So the real damage is just the back right. Some left end damage, ignoring this tire that's like sticking way out. The front, yeah, I just showed you that briefly. And this is a total mess. That's why it's made in China. Make automobiles great again. So that'll do it with automation and BeamNG.drive with the Ryven Ace Hood. This is somewhat of an atrocious knockoff, a Chinese knockoff, to a Bugatti Veyron 16.4, the early models of the Bugatti Veyron. While the 4-cylinder did its job, even though it goes up to 400 horsepower, it is absolutely no match for the real, I think, W16 60.4. So whomever is the car owner of this vehicle, let's put an F in the chat for this guy. Definitely been ripped off by this vehicle. A $40,000, $50,000 Bugatti ain't worth it compared to the real Bugatti Veyron. This is the reality of what happens when you buy a dirt cheap knockoff vehicle. It's just bad, bad, and bad. So this has been Mr. Jacket 000. I'll see you in the next video.